I'm me. It's not overly complicated. Sorry.
Me.
Yeah, Scorpion felt like he was digesting life and then putting it into his music, and that's why it was hitting me so hard in my soul, because like the all four bars really, it wasn't just clever wordplay leading up to a punchline. It was like, oh yeah, that's true. Oh, I felt that too. It's like Lynn's looking jaded. I don't know, bro. It's just like it was hitting, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And
Great album.
yeah, then I think from Certified Lover Boy to that more pop EDM album, honestly, never mind.
Mm-hmm.
That was like, I don't know, man. It became more punchlines. It became more uh ego rap. It became more like less taking life and digesting it for me, and more just like I'm hard. And then he did the 21 Drake album, and that was like super hard. But the whole time I'm listening to it, even in my own head, I'm like, man, these aren't like ideals I can embody. These are like, this isn't a mode of existence I can stand on forever, because like it's good to step up into yourself when you need to step up.
Yes.
But it's like I can't live on these things that they're saying right now. These aren't solid foundation
Yeah, I don't
bricks.
agree with that.
Yeah,
agree.
exactly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some of it I do want to like
embody or motivate and inspire yourself with.
Right. I can't think of any line in particular, but like,
just going hard.
Yeah,
being the best, being the winner.
Yeah, there's stuff like that. But there's also the way he's talking to women and about women, and like, being petty, super petty too. I'm just like, I wouldn't really be that petty, in real life, I think you're kind of lame a little bit, but that's
not it.
It's super hard sentiment though. It's like tough,
Mm-hmm.
But he lost me somewhere in there, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, from that album onward.
Yeah.
It's like maybe not lost, because I feel like I could empathize with that sentiment, but maybe not lost is the right word, but it's just like a different, I don't know, it was a different color of him, or like different, it's different. I guess I felt kind of, because I wasn't really listening to Drake at first, and then Scorpion was like a big album that like really not turned me around, but I really, really enjoyed listening to that album for sure. That was definitely one of my top Drake albums, I think. But,
fantastic.
Yeah, I think it was great.
God's plan.
I don't know, because I didn't listen to him, and I felt like right around that time, and I guess during that time too, I'd be listening to some of his old stuff. I liked his first album too. I remember when I was in high school.
Are you talking about the very first album?
Yeah, Thank Me Later.
Okay, there's one album before that album.
Oh,
what's it called?
The one with Houston, Atlanta, Vegas on it.
Yeah.
It's gonna kill me.
It's got like 2 or 3 songs I really enjoy from early Drake on there. October's Very Own, is that what it's called?
Maybe.
Okay, but anyways, I usually think of the first studio album as the one, Thank Me Later, right? That's what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that album's great. Really good. The Resistance is great. Thank Me Later is great. 9 a.m. in Dallas, I think, is on that, or it was a single he released around that time, and that song was heavy in my rotation.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like, there's been ebbs and flows in which I feel like maybe like I'm relating to him, or it's like maybe he's getting put into my rotation, or like my algorithm. Maybe he's getting put into my algorithm to make me feel these emotions about my current situation. I'm gonna like empathize with them, but then maybe it's like we're like out of sync.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with that.
It's like maybe he's going through a different story than I'm going through.
It's like imagine being a heavy Dylan Brooks fan. You're just like, we're a fan before he got into like the spotlight that he's in now, where he's like literally in Drake songs. Like he wasn't that famous like 2 or 3 years ago, but he just like got super, I don't know. Like he was
Dylan Brooks, the NBA player?
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
So from the perspective of someone who was just I'm a Colts fan, so like I would just be a fan of some like role player or someone who was like the best defensive player on the team. Like I would buy that jersey for sure. And all of a sudden he's like talking shit to LeBron James and he's on ESPN every day. It's like, oh shit, this is crazy,
Mm-hmm.
You might not empathize with him. It's like, oh, if I were in contention to be like going to battle against LeBron James, I wouldn't act like that. Even though I was a Dylan Brooks fan back in the day, and having that mentality helped me be this person that I am now, still wouldn't do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it just means that like ultimately your influences can't really define you. They're just influences. You have to define yourself, or you are defined. You have to like express that.
Yes. Yeah. Your actions, your behaviors.
There are no heroes, kids. They can only help you for one perspective of your life. You got to be your own hero. It's crazy. But that's why it's like Steph Curry's a great. He should be your hero. That motherfucker's solid. It's just solid.
Bucks City.
He shows up every time, every day, every playoffs. He's never getting any crazy drama. He threw his mouth guard a couple times, but like relatively speaking, he keeps it cool for everybody.
Passionate.
Yeah, he's a passionate guy.
Yeah.
You know.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I guess he's solid.
I don't know if I compare. Obviously, I think more highly of Drake than of Dylan Brooks, because Drake's like the Rod
We were
James
talking
of
about stuff
hip-hop.
getting put into your like zeitgeist, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you mean? What do you
Or
mean?
you're talking about Dylan Brooks in the sense of like he just like gets populated, or like just the person that you see you can like empathize with,
Yeah,
or whatever's
exactly.
being brought up like in the culture of society.
Right. You can choose, or sometimes it's brought into you, and you do empathize with it, and it like helps you.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't. Like we don't always agree with Drake. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even though he does help. I don't know.
Yeah, there's like ebbs and flows where in which like, sometimes I'm just like, oh, this is hitting like around Scorpion times
Yeah.
or whatever's going on. Ebbs and flows.
It's the nature of influence.
Yeah, so I feel like after Scorpion, I think we were trying to talk about this in the very beginning. You loved it, or like, yeah, Scorpion was like one of the best albums that or
Yeah. Even just to stick a pin in what we're talking about right now, it's like we're always growing into something. So like you need the ebbs and flows of the influence so that you can like
make your own decisions.
I guess, yeah, because you're becoming something too.
Mm-hmm.
So like
you're defining what you are.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's crazy too because I think about Drake because it's like he's also becoming something. Like we were talking about, we like that "Thank Me Later" album a lot. That's so far detached from who he is now, though.
Yeah.
Like really far. He looks different. You know what I'm saying? He was like super. I don't want to say he looked like a kid, but he's like kind of skinny and scrawny and super young. And now he looks kind of like he's Drake, like as we know him now. And it's crazy because Drake, as we know him now, it wasn't always who he was as he was growing up through the becoming of him. Like he didn't have our respect like that, or people didn't necessarily think he was like one of the best ever. Like he kind of like took over the hip hop game en route to becoming him. And it's funny to think about it. Like, "Thank Me Later," he was that kid, and then, what's the one where he's at the dinner? "Take Care." "Take Care" was like kind of hit or miss. People didn't think that was the best
Some
album in
people
the
love
world.
that album.
So sure, I go back and listen to some of the shit. It's bangs, dude. Like, yeah, it's good. And then "Word on Road" is the click about to blow. You ain't even gotta tell nobody, they already know. That's pretty hard, bro. Like it's still hard. But it's not, dude. We look at Drake now with like "For All the Dogs." He's on the steak commercials, and he's like just beat Michael Jackson's record for #1 singles.
He's crazy.
He's crazy.
It's like watching MJ
It's crazy.
before he was MJ and seeing it happen.
So anyways, he's becoming that thing. And it's crazy
Yes.
because we're talking about ebbs and flows of influences helping us make decisions that are going to define us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then one thing that trips me out is, so we're becoming us, and that requires this ebb and flow. But then I look at where J. Cole stacked up next to Drake on the song "Evil Ways" and a couple other songs on the extended version of "For All the Dogs." And when you put them like right next to each other, bro, like in my mind, J. Cole, even though I appreciated Drake and liked his music more all the way through their careers, I'm like, J. Cole's, I think, the better rapper or the better influencer or the better artist. His shit's like more pure. His shit's more foundational. Like you could stand on it legitimately. And it's not like cap, and it's not like being petty, and it's not like shitting on people, but like he's like, "I will destroy you." It's like he says, yeah, there's so many bars where he addresses that, like, "I'm better than you," even though he's not gonna shit on you. He's like, if you ask for a feature, you're gonna see the mask of the Reaper. It's like, if Jesus had me on a song, he'd be pissed off at me for what I do to him. I forget like what the bars are particularly, but if he has a feature, he'll reference the fact that like people don't want me on their features because I'm gonna go crazy. So like they both do the thing where they compete in the rap hierarchy, and they both talk shit to a degree, but J. Cole's is just like more pure. I'm just like, he's better. Like if I were the judge of the MMA fight, I'd be like, my winner is J. Cole.
Point. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. That's wildin'. Was it always like that?
No, not until this last album came out.
Really?
Yeah.
I fucking love J. Cole.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt that in my spirit. I'm like, man, Justin was right about J. Cole.
Yes, bro. Listening to that guy in college. Yes, I remember back in the college days. I was like, if you just want respect in the rap game, you say you like Drake and J. Cole. Just like, oh, not Drake, sorry. Kendrick and J. Cole. They're like the most abstract. Drake was like too mainstream to a degree. I'm not sure how that even makes sense, you know?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. Something about hip hop is underground by nature,
Mm-hmm.
and so you kind of don't like the mainstream.
Yeah, or it was like deeper. There was more there. But yeah, I don't know. I fucking love J. Cole since those mixtapes. Listening to those way back in the day.
Yeah, they're the two influences. I feel like they're
Mm. Yeah, that concert's gonna be lit.
yeah,
Because the what?
yeah. That concert is gonna be fucking lit. That's one of the best to go to for sure. If you're into hip hop, that's the Super Bowl.
What else could you want?
What else do you want, dude? Anyways, that's where my head's been at lately. Evaluating a new year that we're bringing in
Yo,
together.
welcome in. New
Welcome to
year.
the new year.
The newest Kobe year. 2024.
Boom, 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 boom.
If I had horns, we'd be dropping them.
2024, yo.
Moving in. It's coming quick. Shit always flies by.
Any big resolutions
Every time.
for the new year?
I want to get up a little earlier.
Dude, you're like the fourth person I heard say that.
Really?
Yeah, dude. I love my position in life because I just ask people the same question across the board to see what kind of answers I get.
Survey says.
Yeah. All the hyper efficient people want to get up earlier
Yeah.
for the New Year's. Go on.
Second up earlier. Continue to be flossing more. I've been flossing a little bit more often. Keep flossing. Just keeping up with the responsibilities. What are we trying to buy? I think we were trying to save up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just say do our taxes and save up.
Fuck yeah.
Get ready. I think we're for the win. Get that shit ready. Get some money.
She said yes. If you're curious to know
Yeah, from the
where we
last
left
time.
off our last podcast, Justin's an engaged man.
We're back.
Bucks.
We're back with bucks.
Super bucks.
Boom. So save up for that.
Yeah.
And
Let's just stand on a mountain of wealth. Sorry, it just feels like that's what I want to
Okay.
do. You know what I'm
Sounds
saying?
great.
Let's bury some money and
Let's do
stand on it, bro. Look, come on. Yeah, I'm into that.
yes, dog. But aside from that, nothing. I don't know. Just get better and make our music more consistently, and be pushing it more consistently.
Yeah,
That's all we really need to do.
I'm into that.
Yeah, it's time for that.
Yeah. Facts. Those are great
Yeah,
resolutions.
finally getting paid more. It's nice.
Yeah. Stepping
And
into
working.
that suit life.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I was
Suited
thinking
heroes.
about that.
Yeah, yeah.
What's up with who was the first guy to wear a suit? You know what I'm saying?
Dude, I bet he was so hard. I bet they were like, oh,
What the
man. I'm trying to think of a
What's
colonial
going
accent.
on?
Oh, St. George is wearing some new kind of clothing. I ain't never seen something like that.
The Taylor's boy. You know him?
Yeah, man. I don't know though. It's been a business staple for a long time though.
Right.
Yeah, super long time.
Something about it. What the fuck's going on there? Just the clothing?
It's just like RuneScape. This is like full armor.
Mm-hmm. Or something's going on with it.
I'm trying to think with my mind. I think it definitely fully represents like maximum formality achieved.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's
the
some
suit or like what you wear in general.
the suit.
Yeah.
Like it because what you wear definitely is a projection of yourself. Definitely expressing yourself. And then oh man, this is like crazy. Because what you wear presents like a different
Yes.
image. So like if you wear like
Yes.
jeans and a t-shirt, people you like people are more likely to be more relaxed with you because you're more relaxed with yourself. But then
Go on.
right, and then I'll kind of most of the time I wear something in the mid tier where I wear like slacks and some kind of collared shirt, and I feel like that represents something about like okay, this guy's like presenting himself well, like he respects himself, like I'm gonna treat him with some respect or something like that. But then if you're wearing like a suit, that's like you're there to do the maximum amount. You could be and then you could be an investor in the place they're standing in. Like nobody knows. You know what I'm saying?
You're the owner.
Yeah, you could be, but it also like
Mhm.
you can't really do business not in a suit. Like you wouldn't. There's like a, it's like wearing your NBA jersey. It's like you couldn't actually like play
Playing the game.
Yeah, you can't actually hoop right now unless you're like suited up. I mean, I guess you could do business in like jeans and a polo. I'm sure there's a lot of millionaires, billionaires that do. You know,
Do you?
but if you were gonna like like square up to battle the will and deal like for your company's life or something like that, like you'd be
Yeah,
wearing a
financial
suit.
wheeling and dealing.
Yeah. So there's something there, like,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah, I'm not sure what the hell's going on with that. It's crazy though. Yeah, I think you're on it with like the expression of yourself. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Definitely clothing in general.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, like whenever we have judges and they have to wear like a certain garb, and like whenever you, it like reinforces the character that you're choosing to play to a degree. You know?
Yeah.
Or maybe there's like also tradition in that. I guess it's like a different levels of like sacrifice. It's like, I can wear anything. You can wear anything to do anything you want. You can always wear whatever. You just take off, put on, change
Always.
your expression, right?
Yes. You wouldn't, but like there's stuff that you have to wear to do certain stuff. Like
Mm-hmm.
you'd have to get married in a suit. You don't have to, but like you would. You know what I'm saying?
Traditional garb.
Or like if you were gonna go,
There's uniforms. I guess that like ties into the idea of uniforms, right?
yeah,
Like police officers or like firefighters.
that's true. That's true. You wouldn't do that
The army.
in a sandals and flip flops. You wouldn't. You wouldn't be a cop. And you look like a surfer, dude. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like maybe in Miami 5-0.
Yeah, Miami Vice. Miami 5-0.
But you get what I'm saying. Like
Mm.
there is something about. That's why whenever I go to the studio, I'm always trying to like what I wear definitely goes through my mind because I'm gonna be expressing an energy when I'm in the studio, and what I wear grants me access to different energies within myself easier. So like if I shower and change
Mhm.
and put on like a nice button up like long sleeve shirt that's got like a dope pattern on it and some slacks and some Jordans, I'll just like sit down to like write and I just feel like I'm tapping into the music so easily. I got like my chain out and my watch on, and I'm not saying like it makes me feel something, but that's just like me expressing myself through what I chose to like wear and stuff like that gives me an energy. And in that energy when I'm pulling like bars or thoughts out of it, it's like different. Just like when you go to church, there's an energy that you get into.
With your Sunday best.
Yeah, yeah, or whatever you wear still like
Yeah.
you know how when you get out of church and
That's an idea.
your thinking's just like a little different? Like you're a little more like I feel like I'm more like filled with love and I'm more likely to be forgiving and I'm more likely to see things with like like a Christ-filled heart. Like I'm like not worried about my own self or my own ego and I'm likely to just like find a solution for any of the problems that I had. Like my thinking's different after church. And I think that like
Mm-hmm.
there's something about energies that you get into where your brain chemistry like you can have different thoughts. And then there's times where I feel locked out of my harder self thoughts. And I'm like, well, I look like a bum. Like I haven't showered yet. I need to shave. I need to like summon this higher energy self out of myself, you
Yeah,
know?
the more ideal,
Yeah.
the fresh, the clean,
there's a real thing to that, you know?
cleanliness.
Because you ever seen someone that's just like vibrating at that high frequency? It's like, it's like there's a lot of intent that goes into getting to that frequency.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
It's really out there.
Yeah, we pay such respect to it.
Yeah.
There's uniforms for everything.
That's crazy, bro.
Mm.
It's
Yeah. This expression of ourselves we're all doing here.
there's also like the nature of perception is a weird thing because like when you put someone in a suit, they feel like a different person.
Mhm.
Isn't that crazy? They probably treat themselves like they're a different person,
Yeah, even on a subconscious level for sure.
right?
Yeah, what the hell's going on?
What's up with that?
What's up with that?
That's crazy.
Yeah, the Sunday best is typically like you wear like a suit to go to church,
Right?
right? Present like your best self. It's crazy. Wearing a suit, putting on a jacket. So yeah, the first guy who was ever doing that was stunting on these fucking haters.
I'm with it.
The OG grandpa of that, yes sir.
That's facts. Doctors wear lab coats,
Yeah,
uniforms. Just thinking about it. Albert Einstein, he wore a lab coat. Scientists.
yeah.
I gotta put my scientist jacket on.
With scientists. Yes.
Yeah, the guy that wore a suit was like, I'm here to win. I'm here to be a man. I'm sorry. It's
I'm hard.
older times. I'm here to get the job done.
Mm.
I'm here to have that conversation. I don't know what it is.
Elvis is out there in a pink suit.
Really?
Yeah, balling.
What was his? Just cause?
Yeah, his influence growing up.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah,
That's
people,
crazy.
people feel that way when you wear a fresh jersey and a chain on. You get that fucking, I'm that fucking dog. I don't. I think it's a thing, bro. Like you like be feeling yourself, getting your bag. You know, that's where like, I don't know, man.
Mm.
It's out there. And so what is that? I have a uniform for myself, is what it is. And whenever if I'm wearing the me uniform, I definitely hit harder. Like my bars are better. Like I'm more free.
More true, more authentic.
Yeah, I'm coming with like faster, quicker, better conclusions, more abstract. I feel like I'm surprised of myself. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's some real shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Some real shit. So
The me uniform.
Yeah,
I'm wearing
yeah.
alternate away 3. I'm not in my bag.
Okay, yeah. I feel
The
you.
home jersey.
The home jersey is tight. When you wear, you got your tier 1 uniforms. You got your
Yeah.
you got your favorite outfit you like to wear when you go out.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you update that closet, bro. I'm not trying to be a gatekeeper or anything, but my brothers always ask me like, "How are you dressing so nice?" I'm like, "Really? I just go to H&M for like pants, shirts, button-ups, like everything, and then I just go to Zara for like a crazy shirt or like a crazy sweater, and just like sprinkle that into the wardrobe." And H&M's super affordable. And then Zara, you're paying like a little bit more money, but like it's like you want it's nice to have it like be like the cheap clothes are kind of cheap, and then the expensive clothes are just kind of expensive. So it makes sense to me. Like every once in a while, buy a dope jacket, and then every once in a while get like a really nice pair of slacks. And you just like keep the rotation going. It's like not overly complicated. But then yeah, once you start, man, when did you start dressing yourself with some like intention?
I guess whenever you can. I guess whenever you're getting paid. I guess it's like the same. Yeah, I guess it's the same like type of outfits to a degree. But then yeah, you should like keep the closet going, and then in that closet going process, you like mix and match different shit too.
Yeah. You
I
ever
don't know.
you ever pull up in a fit? You just like
20s, late 20s,
late 20s?
mid to late 20s probably. I don't know. I guess you do it in school for sure, right?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I guess like I guess to a degree you only have so much control over buying your clothes.
That's super true as well. Super true as well. But you had a U uniform in high school?
Even when you were kids, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
To high school for sure. Middle school, high school.
There's a point where my me uniform was like Sperry's and then some Nike socks and some cargo shorts, khaki shorts, no cargo pockets actually. And then a hoodie. And like that was the fit. And then there
That's
was
it.
like super lit fits when I got like a Childish Gambino hoodie from a concert. And then I got like my favorite shorts on and some dope Sperry's for Christmas. I'm a lit version of myself. But that was just a uniform of it's crazy to think about that, dude. Like we have this like outfit that we see ourselves in, and we like just approach that as many times as we can with the constraint of our closet, I guess.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yes, bro. But yeah, I guess because the first day of school is a real fucking thing. So everyone will be putting intent into that when you're in school.
Yeah.
I guess the question is, when does the first day of school thing start to like hit you, At what age of school?
Yeah. Do you care to? Because it's weird. It's one thing is like, why would I care what other people think about me so much that I'm gonna give so much energy to this appearance of mine? That's like one thought perspective, But then at some point, I feel like you start caring about the expression of yourself. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe people don't.
I'm responsible for that thing.
Yeah, that's true too.
That's
right?
what it is.
Yeah, because it's there even if you're not. It can be a burden to other people if you're not responsible for it. So it's like that is part of like I have to take care of this thing. I have a lawn. I can't pretend I don't have a lawn.
Yeah.
Like I've got.
Everyone's gonna see my lawn.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
Exactly, bro. And you are someone who adopts responsibility. So that makes sense that like you're like it became aware to me that it was a responsibility in my late 20s, and then I grudged it. That's pretty dope.
It's okay. Yes, do what you want. Yeah, H&M's the shit. Suits from H&M.
You look like a
Inexpensive.
bee. You look like a bee,
$1 billion.
dude. You look like a fucking bee.
Let's go.
Yeah, dude.
So yeah, the suit's crazy. First day of school was a real thing with dressing. You're dressing the expression of yourself.
Yeah.
Oh,
Uh, and different having a different energy will grant you access to different stuff. I think that's part of the reason people maybe subconsciously kept suits going is because people in suits can like get deals done. You become like a more like stout version of yourself.
more John Wick.
Yeah, more John Wick, dog. Did it for me. Like, I'm not saying if you don't wear a suit and your job doesn't allow you, like, you're not in a position. Like, I was just in not a position where I was really wearing a suit. But like, whatever that, even when I just dress nice, you feel that energy come about in yourself.
Yeah.
And that guy can get more stuff done. Like, people will like be more likely to see your point of view, or you'll command more respect. Like, it's a real thing, dude. You know?
Mm-hmm. At least from yourself, or like, I guess maybe command and maybe expect a little more from yourself, from within your own perspective of what you're wearing. You know, what it's calling you to, the character you're calling yourself to be with whatever uniform you're choosing to wear, and the energy behind, the energy you bring with you into that situation, or that being, whatever that thing is.
That's the bigger question. That's what I want to bridge all this to is like, what? Yeah, we're just expressing something inside of us, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And but the energy pool that you emit and that you're in and your frequency, it's just so real, bro. It's so like it's crazy to me when people are like not aware of that. You know?
Mm-hmm.
It's like your energy is palpable all the time. And then
Yes.
you're having like good or bad things happen to you. And I'm just like, man, there's like one thing you can't control. It's like your energy input outputter. And then you're like not controlling that and then things aren't going well. And I'm like, that's like square one, dog. You know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We could all use a little
Mm-hmm.
New Year resolution. That's
Yeah,
kind
what are
of
your New Year resolutions?
yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
Yes, all of that to say, I'm trying to get back in rare form. I feel like there was a point in 2023 where I
Rare
was
form.
like, I was humming at such a high frequency that it was shocking to myself. I was literally just like pulling up to, I mean, yeah. So like I was a server, and I would have a lot of tables with a lot of different things going on, a lot of different like social dynamics at each table, like business people, and then like double date anniversary, and then like first time, like they're like on their first date with each other, and then like I'm just like going to each social interaction and like talking to people and then like making a joke and then like fixing the problem and then getting out of there with such efficiency, turning around and then being in this different dynamic and then remembering that it's their 19th year anniversary and saying, hey, I want this one to feel like the 20th. I know you're probably really gassed up for the 20th. I don't know if you're going on a trip or what, but like this one's just as important or whatever the fuck it was. You know what I'm saying? Just like little sprinkles of this and that, and then I'm like, how am I just like crushing? It's like a heartbeat, and every heartbeat is so strong.
Boom.
It's got me tripping,
Boom.
bro.
In rhythm.
Yes. And then I don't know, like I was on time everywhere for like a 3 or 4 month span. I was just like super punctual, always on time, never not struggling with anything. Like my workouts were really good. I was eating super clean. It's like rare form. And I feel like I think early on when you're working out, you feel like you get to like a peak and then you kind of drop off a little bit and then get to peaks. And then life sometimes just feels like that where you like swell upward and then maybe sometimes you have some regression because it took like a lot of energy expenditure to break through the old self to get to a new self. But at some point you get to that new self and then there's like you like draw the line or you like run out of energy or you're like, okay, I have to stop and like evaluate this new self that I have. And that's where you incur regression because you're no longer like pushing into the boundary of the new.
Mm-hmm.
And your best optimal performance is when you're like peaking at the through the old you into the new you right before you're going to have regression. Like it's unsustainable to a degree, maybe. We'll find out. But they say it's like unsustainable to be pushing yourself so hard. So like if you adopt like a new workout program for like 8 months, 9 months, 10 months, it's like hard to stay pushing into uncharted territory without having some kind of like rest or like stop or like reevaluation of what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
but your best performance is when you're in the thrill of like crushing that new territory. And I want to like find that again and then just like make it last as long as I can, you know?
Hit that rare form.
Yeah, super rare form.
That full stride.
Yes, full stride. That makes sense. That's a great metaphor. It's probably a
Yeah.
lot of ways to say it actually now I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Hell of a resolution.
Yeah, that's it. That's not a bad resolution, right?
Yeah, that's
I
it.
feel like a better resolution. People want you to like say, I'm gonna start doing this. I'm gonna stop doing that. Not really into anything I would have started or stopped. I would have kind of like done already, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
there's like part of that going on. We're deep in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, people want like I don't know, something palpable, tangible,
Yeah,
you know? I was like, I'm trying to maintain my level of, I'm just trying to get more, be better. Not get more per se, but like more expansion, more of me, a more pure expression, a better expression, whatever constitutes better, more well-rounded.
that's what I'm saying too. Is that I'm trying to find this better expression,
Mm-hmm.
my highest expression.
Yeah, that's like always the resolution every year. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? What is
right.
it? Anything that's not that.
I asked a lot of people. A
I want
lot
a
of
worst
people.
expression of myself in this area of my life. It's like, no, that's not the what? That's not the point of any of this.
That's crazy. That
Right.
New Year's is kind of a holiday about being a better version of ourselves. We have
Mm-hmm.
resolutions.
Yeah.
Hey, what kind of shit are you gonna fix this year?
For
That's
real.
tight though. Like
Yeah.
the nature of the holiday, you know.
Mm-hmm. The nature of the time.
I'm into that. Let's hit this refresh. I mean, I don't really want to. It kind of sucks after Christmas because Christmas was lit. Like
It's lit.
it's an awesome vibe when you're in Christmas morning and you just like realize like you're kind of shed of responsibilities and you got all this new stuff. And even if it's not a lot of new stuff, usually, hopefully, it's like something you kind of wanted. Like you built up this anticipation for this thing, and now you have it, and your life is kind of different. Like I also got an iPhone
What was the
update,
surprises?
like
Oh
on
yeah.
Christmas Day.
Let's go.
I did the update to the latest iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
It's dope. It's different. It kind of fucked with my head. I was like, oh, I feel like I'm in a different time now. Like you know,
Yeah.
I Christmas is always kind of like that, at least for me. But then you get to New Year's and it's like all of that loving, warm stockings, hot chocolate. It's over. It's over. It's over. Be a new version of yourself.
What you been fucking up?
Yeah. Right? It's like start over at 1. Go back to 1. It's like, oh
Mhm.
man, like my
Damn.
my
A
progress.
whole year. Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Just have a fucking hell of a year, kid. That's what we're trying to do, man.
Yeah.
Just have a hell of a year every year, bruh.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
so like, it's always the
Resolutions.
resolution.
Right. I feel bad saying it, but it's true. Like that is one of my
Mhm.
biggest resolutions is like, okay, no more regression. Let's get back to rare form. Like I know what it takes to get back into that like hyper disciplined state. It's like let's get there. Then
Mhm.
also I want to release content on Instagram. I don't know exactly how we're going to work it out or what I want to do, but just like at least podcast clips and figure out what the other brand of my content's going to be. I want to make like little short video snippets with Grace for like our singles and stuff like that. Just like take a dope fit, go out to like a plotted somewhere dope with the background, and then have Grace record it, and then cap cut it and do stuff for TikTok.
Boom.
Just little stuff because if we can get a couple, there's a ton of people that are winning awards for like Grammys and country music awards that were they found them on fucking TikTok or they found them on what was the thing? The green one? Vine.
Mm.
I forget what that guy's name is, but he was on the Joe Rogan
Vine.
podcast, and he just made
Fuck.
6-second Vine clips, and it's like
Bro.
Chris Stapleton or someone. You know what I'm
Getting on
saying?
fucking Joe Rogan?
Yeah,
Bruh.
he's like the biggest. Luke Bryan, I think that's his name. Just blew up off of fucking Vine, dude. Like sometimes I'm overcomplicating things in my own head. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like I feel like we just need to figure out how to sell our package a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, figuring out how to do that. Also making the music. I tentatively,
Yeah.
you want something palpable? Tentatively, like I want to make an album this year, like another full 12-track album. Just write
We got time.
an album. Yeah, right.
We got a year.
We can release singles and stuff like that on the side all we want, but like I want to write an album that we could at least at the bare minimum next New Year's Eve at the end of the Kobe year, we could drop that album and I can feel like I did that year. You know?
Mm.
I feel like that's and if we make an album for our 30 or 40 fans, everyone else is gonna come to it. I know if we write to our 30 or 40 fans, everyone else will come to it.
Just keep on releasing the quality music. Make the next song.
Yeah,
That's what I was thinking about the other day.
dude. When you said that, that shit was having me fucked
Just
up.
keep making the next song. That's all we gotta do. Yeah, that's all you can do. And I guess with that being said, keeping that rotation going of making the next song, the intention going into each session of making the song has to be like better, a better, harder, truer, more authentic version of myself that stands more firmly on more firm foundations. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So every time you write a song, you're also redefining yourself, re-implementing what you believe in,
Yeah.
activating it, standing on it, doubling down on it. It's fire. Every time you make a song, you become a better version of yourself, literally.
Yeah, I was trying to make it. Yeah, and then also there's the constraints of the genre and whatever. Everyone, as far as making music, but our constraints are like, my constraints, I guess, is like it has to be hard, has to be like true. You know what I'm saying? And there's like subtle nuances between like what the hip hop rules are that like everyone plays by
Yeah.
to be considered in the game of hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like it has to like rhyme and you have to have flow and
You gotta be
cadence.
saying, you gotta be saying something I
you
care
gotta be
about.
saying some shit.
Even if you're talking about Ferraris, like it's still something you gotta like draw my attention. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's gotta make sense to some degree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's rules.
There's a lot of rules,
There's rules.
and there's rules and uniforms.
Yeah, rules and uniforms.
That's hard,
dog.
bro. Oh my god, it's really hard, bro.
Yeah, life is crazy.
I got rules and uniforms.
Mm.
It's very different. So make more music.
Mm-hmm.
Make the next song. That's a big New Year's resolution. Also, like I just have this song called "Alive" that I just think fucking bangs. We made it like 6-7 months ago. You know, we gotta get the process for creation to distribution. Because if I was a fan, if Big Sean was dropping a song every 3 weeks, I'd be so happy, bro. So happy. I listened to like the Palisades when he dropped with Larry June. It was also just one of those. He is like a hot commodity, but he's one of those people that has a career and then they pop up in the meta, and then the people that are in the meta like kind of sweep them up into more meta, you know. But he had a song called Palisades with Larry June where it's just like really good, dude. He's just going off. I'm like, why doesn't he make more music, bro? I don't want to be an artist. Yeah, I'm already an artist where my fans are like, why doesn't he make more music, bro?
Where's the music at?
Yeah. Like, I don't want to do that to people, you know?
Yes. Eventually it gets to the point where we can streamline it. But even at that point, we need to live life. We need to live life and have interpretation of that life. Or enough time to interpret that life. To have a response.
That's album music. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that's Scorpion. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to digest life and then turn it into art for you guys. And I feel like that's what Scorpion was. But at the same time, I can make all of this, like, 21 Savage album, Drake stuff, like the mixtape stuff. Like, that's why I like Lil Wayne. I think that's why he's so prolific, is because he's not always writing his soul out. Sometimes he's just, like, pen exercising. He's like, yeah. Man, he's crazy. He'd just be talking about, I'm sharper than a knife, but who gonna catch a blade when it falls? Like, just that mental imagery of, like, it makes sense. He's like, that's why I can't stand with y'all. I gotta stand on me. Like, going off. His stuff is so, like, his punchlines are, it's not, what I'm trying to say is, like, they're really good and they're really catchy and they make you think, but he's not necessarily telling you about something that he literally, like, is going through right now.
Revelatory moment that he had.
Yeah, nah. It's just his generalized expression of himself, whatever he was thinking about that day, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of want to write, like, in a Millie freestyle where I'm just, like, not talking shit, but, like, you know, a million here, a million there. Like, he's not, it's just bars. I got bars.
It's just bars.
I got bars for you, bro. I think that's the other thing I found, like, in this about to be 30-year-old self of me is, like, that's a good balance right there of, like, I want to make music and just, like, drop music because I like making music, but also I want to make, like, an album that I'm, like, protecting, and I'm, like, taking my time with this, and I don't want to rush that, and I want to, like, really say something or really, like, express something. Or it's like when you make a movie, like, I just want that movie to really hit, you know what I'm saying? I want it to really feel like something. I want you to be, if it's like a scary movie, like, I want you fucking scared. I want it to feel scary, bro.
It's a scary movie.
Like, I want and what that feels like, I guess, in music is, like, I want the ambiance of the tracks to hit together. Like, I want it to be a mood. and I wanted to like feel like a like whatever it was we were trying to express, we really like expressed it in that album, you know?
Mm.
I think that's like just also something as an artist that I've been wrapping my mind around is like uh when I want to put out my projects, there's like I really want that project to feel like something like you got the vibe, like you got the idea. Like we explored it all the way through. Like we talked about stuff early on and then the stuff at the end. Like I'm not saying everything has to be a book where you go through like progression. Like this is like my unaware phase and now I'm fully aware by the end of the album. But some kind of like nuanced structure there at least, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's appreciated.
Yeah. I want to do something like that. Like we have all the time and intention to do it. Like it would be a waste not to. But also, if you're not careful, then you won't really release any music because that takes a lot of focus and a lot of time. Like you really got to give it a lot of attention. But we could
Mm-hmm.
just like, I know I could hop on a couple of Lil Wayne songs and just like do a No Ceilings version of his song and fucking kill it. Like I do it in my car every day. You know,
Yeah.
there's something in between that. We also kind of struggled to pop. Like we've been doing this for like 5 years and we haven't just like exploded with a fan base per se, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone we come in contact with generally becomes a fan, you know?
Yeah. No reason not to a degree. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Who knows how it happens? Who knows how it happens? What the no one can say for sure. No one can say for sure. Then even if it does happen, there's no success or there's no guarantee of success for anyone particularly.
There's a lot of broke rappers.
Yeah.
That's the more common perspective.
Yeah. Your careers don't last too long in this league.
Unless they do, you know, which is
Mm-hmm.
crazy. Unless you're in the top 10%. Pusha T still, if he dropped an album, I'd listen to it for sure. I might get a Grammy off of that thing. I don't know, you know?
Yeah, once you get into that meta of the meta,
Yeah.
that deep, that big, I guess.
Like Jack Harlow, he's eating
Mm-hmm.
right now,
He's
bro.
in.
He's in.
He's fucking in.
Dude, what is that? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how are you in there?
In the fucking meta of the meta, bro.
We'll get our shot, bro. Part of it is like, you know, you get a buzz, and then once you get a buzz, you get like a lyrical lemonade or you get like an MTV spot. It's like we just need to get our buzz and then get our shot and then just blow the fuck up. Fuck 'em, dog. Like, I'm not missing that shot.
Oh, fuck up. Does it get a buck?
Just like
I don't
Atlanta, you know what
know.
I'm saying?
I don't know. All I know is that we have to keep on making this fucking music.
Yeah,
That's all I know for sure. I'm
yeah,
not sure how it's all gonna happen, but I know that it's going to happen if I just make the next song. Just keep making the next song. Because even whenever you're on, you still need to keep making the next song and getting better and getting better.
yeah. So I love playing sports because it trained my mind for that. That's already how I work.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm gonna go give like a maximum simulation version of myself. Win, lose, draw, I've got to like reevaluate and get better for the next time. I've got to go give the maximum version of myself, you know? It's a
Mm-hmm.
long season. Like, you
Yeah.
got to be able to give it all, get better, give it all, get better.
Yeah, and you can see that in like virtually every artist's up. Like, I guess that's the idea of what you want to see is like get better, get better, get better. But I guess some people might branch away in whoever's whatever artist you're listening to in their process of making the next song, whatever however that plays out for them. It's like some people, yeah, like the ebbs and flows of like you're not influenced by that person to the same degree that you were before.
Yeah. I wonder if that's like, are they being their best version of themselves? Or if they stop following their ebbs and flows, it ebbs them out of my ebbs and flows? It's kind of crazy to think about. Is Drake
I
just
don't know.
meant to dominate the meta? Like, I don't know.
I don't think so per se.
Right? People should have some control over that. Like J. Cole, if he wants to dominate the meta, he should be able to take it over. There's like something in the way. What is that? You know what I'm saying? I don't know what it is. Or like any rapper would want to be number one, you know?
So it's like popularity.
I guess, yeah. Well, what defines popularity? Like plays, money, awards.
Yeah, I guess how you gonna define it.
Taylor Swift defines it. She's number one, right? In her genre.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just like plays and success. I don't know. It's very. This is all of this. It's like we don't really know what we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? It's like the swell of success.
Yeah, who dominates the meta? Who's like the number one?
Yeah.
There's always going to be that debate in like all fields, right?
Well,
To a degree.
yeah, there'll always be debate, but it's always true that like the Matthew principle is like the more gets more, and the less get less at a threshold to where there's like 20% get all of the sunshine. It's like trees in a forest.
Mm-hmm.
It's like science and nature that like there's gonna be a person at the top of the pyramid making almost all of the money, or like selling all of the music, or like doing all of the distribution for whatever industry. It's like it scales up to a pyramid where 20% are doing almost everything, and the 1% is doing like nearly all of it. That's like the nature of existence. It's like Fibonacci code and shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's like just how stuff works. So that's what I'm saying. It's crazy. Like you're fighting for that thing. You're fighting for to be the biggest tree in the forest so that you can get the most sunlight. Like you're not. It doesn't like that tree is kind of irrelevant. You know what I'm saying? It's like the space. If you occupy the number one spot, you will make more money than everything else, which is crazy because you don't necessarily have to have a better product to take that number one spot over for a period of time where if you're the biggest in the city, then you garner more access to more deals. And then if you can just become the biggest long enough to get the right access to the right deals, you can continue to just like grow and overpopulate and then make so much money you fix all your holes later. That's some shady business shit, but that's what people will be doing, bro. Like,
Wait, what?
like you could, if it's like a product, you know what I'm saying? Like they might not have the best product right away.
Yeah.
But then like they can still occupy the number one space in the marketplace long enough to attain success to fix the product on the back end. And it's like when it works, it's dope. But it's also like Jewel was kind of like that, but then it ended up not being great for people. I was watching a documentary on how
Really?
their company was. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
good.
they were number one
They were number one
for sure,
and they blew
They
up.
were number one.
You know what I'm saying? This being at the top of the meta space is like translatable across everything.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's fucked up.
Yeah, same
If it's
thing.
not true, it's not gonna last.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Like Jewel.
Yeah.
And the music too.
Yeah, because you might be number one for a time, but it's like consistency. How long? What's going on with that?
I'm gonna Chance the Rapper. Where's he
Chance.
at in the meta?
He's got some diehard fans. I love Chance.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Not
Part of the
that hard
problem
fan,
is that these people aren't actively competing for the crown. Okay, that's part of the thing that I'm seeing in like the hip hop space. I'm like, push. Why aren't you actively? You came after Drake one time. I'm not saying you have to come after him, but if you felt so inclined to literally like start a beef, why don't you just instead try to like chip up and like win this year of hip hop? You know what I'm saying? That's what I want to see these people do. I want to see them compete. Because if I'm in there, I'm gonna be fucking swinging bows on the post, bro. I'm dropping singles, bro. You know,
Bars.
Like Jack Harlow's out here.
A great life analyst. You know what I'm saying? A great artist.
That's what I'm trying to do.
That's what it is. That's all I'm trying to be.
Jack Harlow's pretty good.
Yeah.
He competes. He's out here living on me. Fucking that thing's like number one. You know. Let's go. It's fire. So what should we do
about that?
True bucks.
Yeah, I love. Or I guess all this kind of talk about like the intangible nature of being number one. I guess like in a creative space, it's like who's the best painter, or who's the best sculptor, or who It's like all kind of subjective. It's like within that, however you attain yourself to the top of that pyramid, there's no definitive. I guess Grammys and shit. I guess like a little actual awards and numbers of plays is a metric you could use. I guess you can't really do that with. I guess how much the painting gets sold for. You know what I'm saying? Is that what we're going to use? I don't fucking know.
I mean, who can make the most convincing argument?
Well, yeah, whenever Jake says, I wish we were playing in a sport where we were getting rings.
Yeah.
Because it's like, we won. We fucking won, bitch.
Yeah. Because that's what defines... He says that in reference to, this is the same question, like, who's better, MJ or LeBron? It's like, who can make the more convincing argument? Is like, who was going to end up, we're deciding who's better is, you know? it's hard to actually define it. But it's like, well, we could talk awards, or we could talk points scored, or we could talk about rosters they beat, or rosters they had, or it's like someone can make an argument. Whoever makes the most convincing argument, more or less, unless you just like
What's the
disagree,
truth here? What's going on? What's the
right?
verdict?
Yeah, yeah. This hard. That's yeah. These bars write themselves, man. But yeah, I think that's chips. Ultimately, in basketball, we go to chips. Everybody's like chip talk. Michael Jordan said, "I'm not the if I'm not the best, then when I have more rings than everybody else, I will be the best." And then he got more rings than everybody else, and they were like, "Facts."
He's the best.
And then Kobe was like, everyone's boy. He was like the hardest basketball player in the league, and he was like, "It's chip
Him.
talk." He was number one. And so yeah, all these really influential people at the top of the ladder got up there and said, "It's about getting rings."
Mm-hmm. Tom Brady.
Tom Brady, yeah.
Stupid ring talk.
Golly, it's dumb. And it's true. That's the hardest thing. You can't say no to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What the refs, man? The fucking refs.
Yeah, that's part of it.
That's a big thing.
I mean, no, that's part of the game, bro. Like,
Yeah.
you're like complaining about radio stations. It's like the radio stations just don't. My algorithm doesn't quite. It's like, bruh, then you're not number one. I don't know what to tell you.
Number one.
So I guess some people say games are rigged.
I've been hearing that a lot lately too.
Man, I don't know if I'm into that, bro.
I don't know. I guess to what degree? To what degree? Because there was that scandal in the NBA where that ref got caught for fucking not cheating games, but being a ref in an NBA game that you're potentially betting on. So, you might let some shit slide. You might see some double, triple, double dribbles.
Yeah, there's the
You
ref
never
that
know.
got caught betting against Allen Iverson, and then he would ref Allen Iverson, and he would just call his dribble a carry. It's like the same dribble he always does that doesn't really get called a carry. You know, like James Harden has like a step back that's ridiculous. Just imagine he gets called for travel like every time one game, and he's like pissed off, and it's like that ref was just like betting against the Rockets. You know what I'm saying? Like that, they definitely been caught doing that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but even within that, you can't necessarily like rig a game per se.
The only way, man, like the only credible way to do this would be like if the NFL used their AI and they knew how to like if you subtract 50 yards of total offense from this team, they don't win this game. So throughout the night, they end up subtracting 50 yards of offense from the more favored team by like spotting the ball behind a couple yards or here and there and calling a couple false starts that weren't really false starts. And then they get to their ideal green zone number and they're like, okay, we swung this game from being like a 45-55 to being more of like a 65-35. And with those odds over the course of the season long, then our Vegas bets are more likely to win and like fund our company or whatever the fuck it would be. I don't know why the NFL would need to rig their league. Why would you do that?
There's a lot of money in gambling. That's why you would do it.
True, right?
For M's.
True, right?
Why do you do anything for money?
And
For
it's
M's.
It's true, bro. Like the NFL isn't. It's also like it's entertainment. It's not. It's definitely like WWE.
I was just thinking about that.
Yeah, it's the same contract. Like they're not like actually a crucible. They're not like literally if they wanted to manipulate it, then it wouldn't be against any kind of rule. Like there would be no like red flag to throw. You know what I'm saying?
It is their league.
Yeah, it's their league. They can sell whatever they want to the TVs.
Yeah. Son of a bitch, man. But yeah, but I guess with all that being said, though, you can maybe influence a game to a degree if you're a referee, but someone just might ball. Someone could just ball. Like, there's nothing you could have done.
Dude, if they've been trying to rig games for years, then I guarantee you some of our favorite athletes, there were times where they were like, fuck that. Like Michael Jordan, bro. I would legitimately think some of the shit that he went through, whereas like people coming after his character and defaming him and stuff like that, was because they were trying to throw games. And he was like, I'm not throwing this game. I'm not fucking throwing this game. If I have to score 45, 50, 55 points, we're winning this game. I'm going to the
Putting
playoffs.
up a fucking chance.
Yeah. And he fucking ruined some people probably that like, I don't know. I mean, like his dad like died, like got murdered. And I'm not saying that was tied to his gambling, even though they definitely like at the time, some people allege that, but like, I think just sometimes when you think about athletes saying like, if their league is rigged, there are some athletes that are like, nah, cuz I'm not playing by those rules. There would have to be, right? What kind of competitor is gonna say,
Yeah,
"Oh,
come on now.
I gotta leave the
It's
playoffs"?
like, oh, I'll let them win.
Yeah, fuck no.
Fine.
No way, bro. Like Peyton Manning, I guarantee you, if there was a time when they were like, "Hey, we need to lose here. We're gonna let Tom Brady go to the Super Bowl for it's better for the league."
Yeah,
Fuck
right?
that, bro.
Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you. My headset doesn't work, bro.
Not happening.
I think that's why Peyton Manning had so many audibles too. Because it's like, what if your offensive coordinator's on the take and you're the
Mm-hmm.
quarterback and he's telling you to throw into coverage, literally? It's like, I think that's why Peyton Manning's like, no, I know what the coverage is. I've got my own plays. Fuck you guys.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like, I'm calling the plays
I know
here.
what's going on over here.
Yeah.
I know how to read this. I know how to read this book. I like your input, but I trust my own interpretation of this book more than yours.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to
I think the same thing about Aaron
be an
Rodgers
asshole.
sometimes.
Yeah.
He's like, he dances the line with like, if the league is rigged and there's some bullshit going on, he knows and he's like, just trying to get chips. Doesn't give a fuck.
Try and chip up.
Aaron Rodgers is that guy too.
Yeah. Yeah, man, what were we talking about?
The nature of competitive domains.
Oh, yeah, having the rings
Yeah,
is
having the
nice because they
rings.
had music and an art. I guess you get the Grammys and shit, like we mentioned, but still, it's a little different,
It's different.
right?
Yeah.
How is that different? How is a Grammy win different than an NFL, NBA championship?
In my mind, it doesn't really. I mean, because a panel of people decide a Grammy Award versus like a true competitive battle, like 1v1 scrap up for it.
Yeah. It's like I think the people who think that this album wins, you get your best five. You get your best five.
Yeah, right. That would be like more true in our minds, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, give me a chance. Like, let me freestyle them right now, or give me some kind of like opportunity to prove my art. I don't know, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a little more abstract and a little different within
It
the
is.
creative domain.
And who's to say that Grammy Award winning art is more valuable than, you know, art that doesn't get the recognition? Like,
Right.
right?
Right.
Right?
Fuck them. Who are those people?
Like, this painting, like, no one knows what this painting is, but this painting makes me cry.
It makes me cry.
It makes me fucking sob, dude. Like, it makes me think there's hope. It makes me think there's hope again. It's like, this is invaluable to me, but it's just not sold on shelves. They don't have the HEB deal in the marketplace, you know?
Yeah,
It's such
whatever
a
that
weird
is.
thing.
Yeah, it's different. Strange.
That's why we should just make the art for our 30 or 40
That's
fans.
it.
Yeah.
So that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
We just need to make the fucking art, bro. Let it speak for itself.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think J. Cole talks about that. He mentions that in the song, right?
Go on.
I forget what he says. I know he says something to the effect of like, I was hoping the music would speak for itself, but the people want everything else. What song is that? A Lot, I think. Okay, no problem. Yeah, so I want everyone to know. Yeah,
He goes off.
yeah.
Guess I was hoping the music would
Slaps.
speak for itself. Yeah, even that's the thing that J. Cole, like, that's the same wall we run into a little bit, is like that.
I empathize with that.
Yeah. It's like, but it does. It does speak to, like, there's people that love some of our songs. Like, it does speak for itself to some degree. We're just, the people, man. Jack Harlow's successful because he signed a deal with, like, Warner Brothers. Literally one of the biggest companies to help, like, publish and produce and, like, build a fan base. Like, that stuff helps a lot, you know? Drake had Lil Wayne when Lil Wayne was at the top of the game.
Yeah,
Chosen as his,
that's
like,
nice.
yeah, you know what I'm saying?
That was his Bill Belichick. That was Lil Wayne.
Yeah, dude. So part of the reason that they get to compete at that such high level is because, you know, they were like super rare opportunity, you know?
Mm-hmm.
We'll crack through though.
Yeah, I guess now that begs the question in my mind: how do you go from? I guess to get the deal is an option, but how do you go from just making the music to getting it in front of the panel of the critically acclaimed? You know,
I guess Vine. I guess
how does that
Vine.
happen?
You know? Like,
That's the question.
like you seen that guy outside in his fucking
Sorry, but then to maintain it,
That's the
to
difference.
play at that level and stay at that level.
Yeah. That's like, yeah. That's why we work out like we do. Or like, it's the same kind of principle. It's like,
Mhm.
I want to be able to do this every day. Like, I'm working on doing this every day. Same thing with the hip hop. Like,
I don't want to have one song, one hit wonder. Like I want to be able to make hits.
let the hits roll.
Yeah.
Yes, bro. Yes, bro. And we can do that. We're right there. We're right fucking there. We're doing our job. We're doing our responsibility.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the other part of the question.
You seen that dude in the forest and he's like fucking, they ain't paying the shit. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. But you
I
know,
couldn't tell you a damn thing.
but he tells you what the world, you know.
Makes you cry though.
Yes, bro. Yes, couldn't name a bar right now, but that video, like that guy got signed to a deal like the next week, bro. It's on Joe Rogan like the next week, bro. Like, dude, you know what I'm saying?
Come on. What? What are we talking about?
One video,
What are
bro.
you talking about?
No one even. I've never seen that guy in my fucking life. You know how many people I haven't seen in my life? A ton.
Billions.
Billions of people I've never seen. But this guy, just however the fuck, everyone's phone gets populated with his video, and we all watch it and we're like, oh my god, he's right, bro. Like everybody, bro, and
Yeah.
like
Mm.
you know, if that guy goes and makes an album.
He's in the zeitgeist. He's in the meta.
He could win that Grammy. The panel would be aware of him. They could award him that award. But you gotta have that, like whatever that fucking rocket ship. Like whenever we break through the atmosphere, bro, we gotta keep going forever, bro. Like
We gotta get better.
yes, if we can release a follow up album that like we'll have once we have the opportunity of the public gaze, and then we release like a great album, people will be like, oh shit, like then we're competitors at that point, you know, and we're in there.
I want that part.
Yes, bro.
I want
Yes.
that part of the story.
I think we're right. We're gonna write the album that is the album that when we have that pop, you can go back to the album and be like, oh yeah, they've been going off. They got a thing going on. I feel like we're doing that like right now. Like we're about to feed the population we have with a really deep album with like some really true version of us, like our hardest, most authentic bars, like my most crafty, clever self, and my most like vulnerable, authentic self going off. And then we get an opportunity where we crack through, and then it's like we've already done the process once. It's like we just do a better version of that, you know? Just like make it happen again, but like this version of us, because we'll have lived so much life, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, lived life with the intention of that resolution mindset. It's like it's getting better this year. It's like, okay, well, what does that look like? You know what I'm saying? It's like that always changes. But the idea of like getting better this year, it's like just keep doing that.
Yes.
So then we will have had that interpretation while we're interpreting life. And then we make music from that place. And yeah, just continue that cycle. And hopefully we get better. I think Drake's kind of done that to a degree. He's gotten a lot. He's maintained popularity. He's maintained his status, I guess, his throne to a degree.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can listen back to his old stuff too. And it's solid. But just the idea of that progression. That's what we're trying to do. Trying to get better every time.
Yeah. It's exciting. We got a lot better last year.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since I was like 27, I was like, oh shit, I can go off. Like I see, it's so weird, bro. The way I always saw it in my mind was like, you're tying a knot all the way until your like frontal cortex closes, but somewhere between age 25, 27. And then like something happens in your brain where like you're building all of these like structures. And then it felt like I was tying a knot. And then when the prefrontal cortex closes, it's like the knot actually ties into a knot. And I was like, oh, like cause and effect. Like I have control over my life. I can wake up early and go to work. Like I can work out every day and then I'll get a result. It's like what I eat makes me look like this. Like either way, good or bad. It's like instead of it being like something you're kind of like barely understanding, it was like I stood on it. And I don't know how to explain it. Like it's like I fully understand it. I can fully take responsibility for it.
And it's like, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Solid.
And it's so nice, bro. It's so nice. I was like, oh, I was just having better days, and then having better weeks, and then having better months, and I was like, oh shit, this is crazy, bro. Jordan Peterson was like right at the tail end of that. Really helped a lot.
Yes, bro.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But from that point on, the getting better process, because I have like control over it, I feel like I can control what's going on here. It's way easier to get better every year.
But yeah, maintain that mindset.
Yeah.
That's what it's there for anyway. The resolution every time. It's the same thing every year. Or I guess, yeah, the idea of a resolution.
So just be whatever.
It's always there.
You're more
When that
ideal.
start?
I don't know. Probably early on in early America.
New Year's resolution.
We'll look it up for the people, and then maybe we can let them out of here.
Yeah, what the hell's going on? Hopefully yours is good. Episode 29. We're coming at you. We'll get a 29 athlete eventually as well.
It's the 29th episode?
I think so, yeah.
Nice.
Is there a
Nice.
29 off the top?
Happy 29. This one's just as important as 30. I don't want to
Always.
let it go. I feel a little rusty. We haven't potted in a while.
Every one after 20, I'm like, nice. Keep going. They kept going. But no, yeah, it's been a minute now since
Whoa.
before Vegas. Now it's New Year's 2024. Talking about resolutions and shit. Hopefully you got... The idea is always better than next year. Better than next year. Better than last year. And then better even next year. That's it. That's always it. Just day to day. But I guess that New Year's resolution, whenever that calendar flips, is when we really... I don't know, it hits... We wanted... That comes from somewhere.
Yeah, no, 4,000 years ago, Babylonians.
Damn!
Yeah.
Let's go.
They celebrated the New Year.
Well, that's what the... Didn't Jordan Peterson talk about that? With the...
Mesopotamians?
Oh, yeah. Was that different peoples?
Yeah.
Or they did different kind of... They take the king
Babylonians?
outside? What'd they do?
They said they were the first people to make New Year's resolutions about 4,000 years ago. They had celebrations, a 12-day religious festival, and they crowned a new king, reaffirmed their loyalty to the reigning king. And they also made promises to the god to pay their debts and return any objects they'd borrowed. The promises could be considered the forerunners of our New Year's resolutions. So it was like, I promise. They were saying, I'm going to pay all my debts, or I'm going to return something that they'd borrowed. And that was their resolution, to be like a better self.
Hmm.
And they would have to like do that, or God wouldn't like be rocking with you. Is what it says more or less.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you said you were gonna return that thing, you didn't do it. Like,
What the hell?
your karma's gonna turn sour, or like your gods aren't gonna be, you're not gonna be in their favor.
Mm-hmm.
That was them 4,000 years ago. But you might be right, because it says they would either crown a new king or reaffirm their old king
Mm-hmm.
at this festival.
Yeah, I think
That's
Jordan
pretty scary
Peterson
thought.
says they would take the king out and then strip him of his royal garb and then like make him admit or go through his like watch the film of his fuck ups over the course of the year. It's like, how could he have been better? And then they bring him back into the city. I think something along those lines. But getting better. That comes from somewhere. There's something fucking to it.
There's an ideal self in yourself.
Yes.
That's what it is,
That's
right?
what we're all identifying there.
Yeah, you want to take a big leap towards that ideal self whom you want to be.
Yeah.
And you get the courage around New Year's,
fuck with
hopefully. Yeah, come on, let's just do it,
Let's
bro.
just do it.
Let's just do it, bro. It's hard. There's constraints, bro. There's constraints.
Let's just do it. But there's a couple speed bumps along the way. It's kind of hard. It's like constraints. But let's fucking go.
You like The Office, bro, when he's like, just eat the broccoli, Stanley. Just eat the fucking broccoli. And he's like trying to eat the broccoli whole, and he's like, you can't do it. It's like, that's it, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to just eat the broccoli, but it's like tough sometimes, you know?
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yeah.
So 4,000 years ago, they were rocking with that shit. We're still rocking with that shit today.
Come on, let's go.
Come on, y'all. We're rocking. We're pulling for you.
It takes a lot. Dig deep. Because it's Kobe year. I've been digging deep, bro.
It's Kobe year. It's time to dig deep, bro. Tap into something deeper.
Yeah, push harder. Like,
Push for your ancestors, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Go on.
Push for that line.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That line that brought you here.
You've got the baton right now.
Yeah, you're
You're
in.
the one running with the baton.
Yeah, we're running a eternity-long marathon. And you're in. You're in, kid.
Dude, you can feel it in your
We're
soul.
rooting for you.
When you're like right at the line. You're like, I'm doing all I can. I'm doing all I can. And sometimes like, do more. It's like, play more aggressive. Play faster. It's like, get more uncomfortable. I don't know. It's like, hard to quite put what your finger on is, but I feel that Kobe mentality. I feel that. What is that Black Mamba about? It's like, give more, find more, push harder, run faster.
Dig deeper.
Dig deeper,
It's a
bitch.
metaphor, but damn it, there's something to that too, you know?
Yeah.
Digging deeper. So yes, we're about that shit. Thank y'all for tuning in.
I love you guys. We'll be more regular, hopefully.
Yeah, we're coming back into it. Hopefully, we get a little more regularized schedule after Christmas and New Year's. It's like, whew, here we go. Back to chilling life.
Regular scheduled programming. Allegedly, we were part of a new business opening up, and it was our busy season.
Busiest season.
Busy season. That's what they tell you in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
So it gets really tough around this time. Just bear with us.
You're gonna be alright, kid. Whew, yeah, that was some shit.
Yeah. So we'll make some more music, do some more podcasts.
Yeah, we went on a run, y'all. We went to Vegas, and then we came back and then worked like 90 hours.
As much as I could, baby. As much as I could.
Yeah, 7 straight. Yeah, we're pushing it, y'all. So we're gonna get back and watch routinized shit. Making more music, that's for sure. That's for damn sure.
Yes, if you're out there and you
That's
fuck
for
with the
damn
music,
sure.
it's coming. It's coming. I rock with you.
We already
Thank
got
you for rocking with
the
us.
3 songs are there, bro. We're right there.
We're right there. We're gonna get that shit out to y'all.
Soon.
Be soon, be soon.
Yes. So stick to those resolutions. We're rooting for you.
Rooting for you. Rooting for you.
Let's fucking go. Better.
I love you. Good night.
Rolling through the city to the light show. Really ain't no telling where we might go. I just flipped the switch, I'm in my